Daddy is Mr. Santa, so Christmas was always a big deal at our house. It seemed like every year we got something that you could ride, or something big that we could all, do together. So now don't think we got an allowance. If we ever brought up the whole issue on, hey, our friends get paid for doing stuff, and Daddy would say, got paid for doing something in their own house? And we'd say, yeah, and Daddy would say, not in this house, not in this house.
Instead of having the wedding, what did I want to do?
You wanted to give us money. You said, don't do it, don't do it.
And
we wanted to build a house. You tried to give us money.
I looked at it. We're spending all this money, and all we got when we get through is pictures. Okay? I can get somebody to come in and take pictures.
You and Mama ran away and got married, so she didn't have a wedding.
She had a wedding, she married me.
Well, in front of the Justice of the Peace and the little piano player, and that was about it. But
what were holidays like as a child with your mom and dad?
Okay, holidays. Thank goodness Daddy was home on holidays. That was the best part, except for the one time that you went to Vietnam, and you barely made it home before Christmas. But other than that,
we got home 24th.
That's right.
Okay.
So Daddy is Mr. Santa, and so Christmas was always a big deal at our house. We could ask for a couple things. That was it. You just asked for a couple things, and Santa worked very hard to make sure that we got those couple of things. It seemed like every year we got something that you could ride, or something big that we could all, do together, kind of thing. But I think on Christmas mornings, I think Mom and Dad were just as excited as the three of us. And I'm talking when I was little. Y'all have to remember, Rebecca. I was older when Rebecca was born, but when we were little and the Christmases that we had, I think Mom and Daddy were just as excited on Christmas morning when we would wake them up and get them in there and all that. And then Easter, my mom made sure we had a bonnet and little gloves, and that was when you could break out the white patent shoes. You couldn't wear, that was the first time you could wear the little white patent. The rest of the year you had to wear the black patent. And she would either make us an outfit, or she would, make sure that we all were dressed so pretty, and we always had our little corsages and all that, and we were always proud to walk into church that Sunday as a family together, because we didn't do that very often. And, be together, and we would usually go to Grandmother Owens's after church and hunt eggs and have a big dinner.
Everybody got their picture taken, right?
Everybody got their pictures taken, and it was just good memories, lots of good times.
So with you being the oldest daughter, are you the one that keeps the family traditions going now?
I think I keep the family traditions going as the oldest girl.
Yeah, you probably got a little bit more control, okay. Do you tell them what to do and when to do it? I mean, like when we have Thanksgiving, make sure everybody brings their green beans or taters.
And I know, and when we get together as holidays, like, we know what Daddy likes. We know the good traditional things that Daddy likes, certain at Christmas or at Thanksgiving or at Easter, whatever. So we try to make sure, and I try to organize it and make sure everybody brings what they're supposed to. And I'm usually the first one here putting stuff out, and I'm the last one to clean the kitchen up. And
okay. We're going to give you credit, okay?
So, I have lots of help. I don't do it all. I guess I probably do. I am probably out of all the girls, because Kyle's pretty sentimental, I am the most sentimental. Like, every little thing means something to me. Every little tradition means something to me. And, I'm the Hallmark person of the family. And I like traditions, and I like to do things the way that my mom did it, and so I guess that's me.
So you, Kyle, and Lisa are very close in age, but then Rebecca came along.
Yes.
What was it like having
You know, I have always loved kids, always, obviously, since that's my life. But I will never forget Mom and Daddy coming in our bedroom that night. Now, y'all have to remember, Kyle's room, we lived in the brick house beside the grandmother's, and the shop was on the other side. And we had it was a small house. And Lisa and I slept in a double bed until I was 15 years old in a tiny little bedroom. And then we had a tiny little bathroom, and then Kyle slept in a tiny little bedroom on the other side. I mean, you could hold your hands out and touch our bedroom door and Kyle's, and there was a bathroom in between. I mean, it was that tiny. And I mean, I loved kids, and Uncle Mars, after Lisa was born, he had a couple more kids, and it was always fun having a baby around, and the family and stuff. And so I just remember that night, Mom and Daddy came in, they called Kyle from his bedroom, and Mama sat on the end of the bed, and she said, we're going to have a baby. And I just remember thinking, oh my goodness, I just can't wait. It's just going to be wonderful. And Kyle, of course, Kyle's first thought was, he was excited too. He probably thought, oh, it'd be nice to have a brother. Yeah. Lisa, not so. She had been the baby for 9 years, so 9 or 10 years, so I don't know how. I think I was the most excited. And I just remember, like, I wanted to take care of Mama. I just wanted to, make sure that she was, and I remember the church gave her a shower. Since it had been that many years, they gave her a shower. And I saved up my money. I remember doing some stuff around the house, and Mama we didn't get an allowance. Now, don't think we got an allowance. If we ever brought up the whole issue on, hey, our friends get paid for doing stuff, and Daddy would say, got paid for doing something in their own house? They paid them in their own house to do stuff? And we'd say, yeah, and Daddy would say, not in this house, not in this house. So we never got an allowance, but I wanted to have my own money. And there was it was a Sears, I think it was a Sears or JCPenney, and they sold Winnie the Pooh stuff. Winnie the Pooh, cute little stools, outfits, and all this stuff. And so I worked hard, and Mama would give me just a little bit of money for doing things just so I could go buy my own special gift. And I remember she took me up there, and I remember I bought like just a couple little outfits. I bought a little stool with Winnie the Pooh. And I was so proud the day Mama had her baby shower at Mount Lebanon, because I got to take my own gift that I had worked so hard for this baby that she was going to have. I just remember that. And it was exciting, and Kyle and I got to go to the hospital to see Rebecca, because you had to be 13 and older. Mm-hmm. And so I remember Daddy came home that night. We were having revival at Mount Lebanon. And so we didn't get home until late, and Daddy wasn't home, and we were getting worried, and Mom had a kind of a rough time delivering Rebecca. And so Daddy didn't get home till late, and he came in and he said, we had a little girl. And so I was just so excited. Well, at that time, you were in the hospital for several days. Not like today, but so I don't remember if it was the next day or the day after that, 'cause she was there for a while because she had a rough time. And Daddy took Kyle and I, because we were 13, and we went to the hospital, and at that time they kept the babies in the nursery. Yeah. And I just remember Mama's room was at the end of the hall, and the babies were, laying in the little nursery here. And I remember I walked by, and all I wanted to do was watch the baby. And you and Kyle had walked on down. You saw the baby, and then y'all walked on down to Mama's room. And I remember you saying, you need to at least come see your mom. But I was just so excited about the little baby, watching the little baby. I did go see Mama, but so then the day that she came home, you got to take Lisa back with you, and Lisa got to actually be with Mama as she brought the baby home, and Kyle and I were back in school, so to make it fair for everybody. But it was exciting, and Rebecca slept in a porta crib in Mom and Daddy's room.
Put her to bed.
For 2 years because there was no more room. There was no more room. There was nowhere to put a bed, and until that you moved into the house that we're in now. And so Rebecca was right at 2 because we moved in at May of 75. And so she had just turned 2. And so she, then she had her own room. And so, yeah. But she slept in y'all's room for 2 years. 2 years in the little porta crib. So, yeah.
How many years did you get to live in this house?
So we moved in 75, and I was married in 81. So 6 years. I lived here 6 years. Kyle lived here 4 or 5. So
he was 15, I think.
So yeah. So right. When we moved in this house, I had just got my car. So, I mean, it was, so I was, like I said, and I got married in 81. So I did not live at this house very long.
No, your home was over there.
My childhood was in the house on Branson Mill Road. Yes. Yes.
RP, do you remember when Terry came and asked you if you could marry Sharon?
A little bit of it, I think. Yeah. I think Terry come in, kind of asked.
Scared to death.
Was he scared? Mm-hmm. Anyhow, I think I was sitting over here, and he come in. They wanted to know if it'd be okay if I bought you a ring. And what did I tell him?
If he bought me a ring, you asked him, did he need any money? And he said no. He said no.
He said he could handle it.
He could handle it. He had worked hard on the farm and saved $500.
Is that how much you paid for it? Okay.
Well, we got all our rings. Diamond rings, wedding band, diamond, and Terry a wedding band for $500 at Hayes Jewelers. Yes, we did. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was neat. But
yeah.
And then when y'all got married, instead of having the wedding, what did I want to do?
You wanted to give us money. You wanted to give us money. You said, don't do it. Take the money. We wanted to build a house. We wanted to live on the farm, and we wanted to build a house. And so
yeah, but
you tried to give us money.
I looked at it. We're spending all this money, and all we got when we get through is pictures. Okay? I can get somebody to come in and take pictures. And so I'm going to give you what I think is going to cost me $35,000, $40,000 for a wedding. I said, I'll give you that.
Yeah.
And then you can put that down on the house, and you'll be halfway there.
That would have paid half my house for sure.
Know, but Terry thought it was a great idea. But I don't think you and Mama liked the deal very good.
No, we wanted to have a wedding, and but now you look back and you're like, man, did I make the right choice? I should have took the money and.
So this
it was good.
Daughter to get married.
That's right. That's right. And when we talked about getting married, I said to Terry, "You have to ask my dad. Yeah. You have to." And I mean, I know there's a lot of people that don't do that anymore, whatever. But so I know that he was kind of nervous, and so then then 2 more guys came and asked for your other daughter. So it's just the way it was.
Everybody came and asked.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, that was great.
Yeah.
But the big deal was this was Mama's first wedding.
That's right.
So,
see, Mama and Daddy, you and Mama ran away and got married, so she didn't have a wedding.
Right. She had a wedding. She married me.
Well, in front of the Justice of the Peace and the little piano player, and that was about it. But I think Mama enjoyed, and I was in college, and I was working part-time at the museum, and Mama helped do a lot because I really didn't have the time to plan and stuff. So I think she enjoyed.
She thought it was great.
She enjoyed planning it. Yeah. So yep. And Grandmother Petty made my wedding dress.
Yeah, okay.
And I went shopping with her to this fabric place, and we bought just the right color for the dress and the lace. And I would go to her house multiple times for fittings and stand there in the living room at the home place. And her sister, Aunt Lee would spend hours stitching and tacking lace, and I had a 6-foot long train that was on my dress, and it was just full of lace. And so Yeah. So it was a lot of good memories. It was very special to get married in my dress that my grandmother made for me. It was a one of a kind. So, yeah.
Sharon, you have 3 kids. Did you ever let your dad babysit?
I don't know.
No, he never kept my kids.
I don't know if I ever babysitted any of your crowd. Because y'all was over there and we was way over here.
Yeah. Well, I do remember one little story. One night, I never really, I was married to a dairy farmer. So, of course, he worked 7 days a week. So we didn't, if I went on a trip, if I went anywhere, I would go with y'all.
Yeah.
And at the time, most time I had 2 girls because I waited later to have a third one too. But one night, I don't remember where me and Terry went. Terry and I went, I don't remember. And I brought the girls, I only had girls, and I brought the girls over here for you and Mama to keep. And Maggie, you were playing with Maggie in the kitchen. And you remember what happened?
Yeah, dragging her.
He had her arms and was just dragging her letting her lay all over the kitchen and dragging her. And so when I came to get Maggie and Hannah, y'all said, Maggie has been very upset. She says her arm hurts and she's been crying and she won't use it. And so anyway, so I said, oh, she'll be fine. So I took her home, and the next morning I called the pediatrician, and he met me at the doctor's office, and her arm had been pulled out of.
What happened? I was pulling her on the slick floor, and then when I hit the carpet instead,
or a rug, it just stopped, and it just pulled it out. Yeah. So the next morning the doctor put it right back in, and she was good to go. But that was probably the extent of Daddy babysitting my children. So, yes.
Have you ever babysit any of your grandkids?
Yeah, you kept, when we were in Wyoming one time, we left Reed. Again, I don't remember where we went or what we did. And we weren't gone long, goodness no. And we left Reed. I'm thinking Reed might have been asleep or something. And so when we came back, you had a bungee cord wrapped around his pants to hold his pants up. You said his pants were too baggy or too big or whatever. So you had wrapped a bungee cord around him 2 or 3 different times and to hold his pants up.
His britches stayed up, though, didn't they?
They did. They stayed up with the bungee cord, that's for sure.
Sharon, did you ever want to race?
No, absolutely not. I never wanted to race. Never. The going around, the lap around the racetracks after that did me in. But no, I
always had to take a lap around when the race was over.
I've always tried to be very cautious in a car. And like I said before, on Christmas, there would always be a new motorcycle, a new go-kart, a new whatever in our driveway. I would ride them a little bit, but that wasn't my thing. Like, I learned to ride the motorcycles and change the gears. I learned to ride the mini bikes. I learned to ride the go-karts and all that stuff, but that, I didn't like it. I just didn't.
You weren't very adventurous, right?
No. Now, Kyle, even a bicycle, Kyle would go out and build ramps, just a plain bicycle, and try to jump our little pedal cars, all that stuff. And I would watch him, but I never wanted to do it. And again, you have to remember, you're talking about the 60s, early 70s, there were no women. Women couldn't even walk in the pits. Women couldn't even come in the pits.
Yeah.
It was, so, I know there were a couple that
talking about being
racist.
Adventurous, though, I can remember I bought Kyle a little scooter deal and showed him where the brakes were, all this stuff.
The mini bike.
He lived over town. It was a mini bike, and so he went out and learned the deal. I went back in the shop and went zoom, boom. I said, I told him not to run fast. Come out there and you was on it. Your hair was blowing back, and you just told
him
trying to miss everything. And I guess he just told you to get on. You got on it.
And I did drive the things, but I just
and then
didn't.
Had the brakes, and I finally had to run you down and tackle you to get you off the thing because you didn't know how to let off.
I just knew the gas, not the brake.
Yeah, didn't even know I had brakes, right?
I guess not. I'm glad you were there, so I guess not.
Sharon, how is your relationship with your dad now that you're the petty museum?
Well, it is fun.
It's always fun.
It's always fun. So I worked for the museum when I was in college.
Yeah.
And there were times that, I'm going to say like in the summer, that one of the ladies in the museum would go on vacation and they'd need somebody to fill in. And being a school teacher, I was out for the summer. Unemployed is what it's called, not just out. So I would go over and I would help them in the summer. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. And I never thought about coming back to the museum. And when I was getting ready to retire, Daddy said, well, why don't you just come back and work at the museum? And I said, nah, I don't know. I want to retire. I've worked my whole life. I want to retire. I got so much to do. And Daddy said, you're coming back to the museum to work. And so I said, okay, I'll try it. So I've been there 7-8 years since I retired. Oh, he did give me, I retired the middle of June, and Daddy wanted to know why I wouldn't come the next Monday and start working. And I said, I need a couple of weeks off. And Daddy said, then you'll start the 1st of July. So that's what I did. So I tell people all the time, I guess I've seen you more in the last 7-8 years than all the other years put together. Just about. I mean, really.
But when you retired and before you went to workforce, what would it do for you?
So one night I was over here for dinner, and Daddy said, I would like to do something special for you for retirement. And I had gotten right out of high school, gone right to college, gone right to teaching, and I had taught about 20 years, and I even went back and got my master's degree at night. And for 2.5 years, I went to school at night and worked during the day and had 3 kids. So I had worked really hard, and Daddy said, I want to do something special for you. And I said, well, you don't have to. And Daddy said, no, is there somewhere you'd like to go? And I thought about it, and I said, well, I'm not, anybody that knows me knows I am a 365-day girl at home. At home. If you told me I never could leave Randolph County the rest of my life, I'd be happy. I love it here, and I'm not a traveler by no means. But I said, maybe Alaska. And so Terry was sitting there, and he said, yeah, we've always talked about it'd be nice one day to go to Alaska. So Daddy said, I'm gonna send you to Alaska. And I said, okay. So I don't know, a couple weeks went by, and Daddy said, I got a surprise. And I said, oh my goodness, what is it? Because I knew he was already, going to send me to Alaska for 10 days on this trip. He said, I'm going with you. And I said, well, that's a great. So we spent 10 days in Alaska, and best trip of my life. If on my dream one day is to take all of my children and their spouses and do the same trip that we did. Daddy and Mama had been there, I think, 3 times, and we did the same trip my parents did. And Daddy took me to the same places they ate, and
knew everything. We
went on the same excursions, the train rides, the plane rides, and the glacier. I mean, we did it all, and it was very special.
Did you go to Hawaii with us?
No, I did not go to Hawaii because you went to Hawaii in November, and I was expecting a baby in December, so I did not get to go to Hawaii. But
the rest of it, yeah.
But the Alaskan trip was wonderful because I felt like Mom was there because we were doing all the things that she had done, and I had seen all the pictures from where Mom and you had gone and taken the picture. So it was a very, very special trip. So, yes. And it was even more special because Daddy went with us and stayed right next door to us. So it was a lot of fun. So, yep. So working at the museum with him every day. So I came back. I worked for a week or two. We went to Alaska, came back, and then I've been there ever since at the museum. So there was another story I was going to tell. What was it? I was thinking of this story. Oh, I know. Daddy missed a lot when we were growing up. Okay. So Daddy missed the recitals. He missed the graduate. He missed everything. So, and again, we didn't cry about it. We didn't pout about it. We just went on. We knew Mama was going to be there, and that was just the way our life was. We knew that Daddy made it clear to us, this is my job. Okay. And because I do this, y'all can do this. Or y'all, we have this. We have this home. You have food, you have clothes, because I'm working. And I never thought about Daddy was having fun. I never even, I mean, I know what it's like, you to get up, go to a job, and you come home and you don't say, boy, that was fun. Woo, I had a fun day. You know, you just go through the motions, whatever. I never thought Daddy was having fun. I guess he was, because he did it for so long. But I always just thought, oh, he's working. It's just working. He's at the track, he's working. And, but I remember that when I graduated from college, that I went to High Point, and High Point graduated on Mother's Day, and Daddy raced in Nashville on Saturday night. And I said, you won't make it. And again, it wasn't that big of a deal. It's a high school graduation. It's no big deal, no big deal. Mom will be there, she'll take the pictures, it'll all be wonderful. We went out to eat afterwards, all that stuff. Daddy drove 10 hours, because it took 10 hours to get home from Nashville. He raced Nashville. He drove 10 hours. He came in the door, took a shower, and put on a suit and a tie and everything. And when I went to graduate, there he was.
I was there. For one of them anyway, right?
You made it to one. You made it to one. So, but it meant a lot.